मनमोहनाङ्गरामा मनमोहन श्यामा मनमोहनाङ्गरामा मनमोहन श्यामा प्रेम सुगुणरामा प्रेम सुगुणरामा वैदेहि हृदय सदा रमा मनमोहनाङ्गरामा मनमोहन श्यामा मनमोहनाङ्गरामा मनमोहन श्यामा दिनकरकुलधीरा दिनकरकुलधीरा राजसेवित श्रीकरा दिनकरकुलधीरा राजसेवित श्रीकरा जनगणमन्दारा जनगणमन्दारा सज्जन हृदय विहार सज्जन हृदय विहार मनमोहनाङ्गरामा मनमोहन श्यामा मनमोहनाङ्गरामा मनमोहन श्यामा मनमोहन श्यामा मनमोहन श्यामा
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। Let us chant the first 14 verses together. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. अथ द्वादशोऽध्यायः। अर्जुन उवाच एवं सततयुक्तेन ये भक्तास्त्वां पर्युपासते ये चाप्यक्षरमव्यक्तं तेषां के योगवित्तमाः। श्रीभगवानुवाच मय्यावेश्य मनो ये मां नित्ययुक्ता उपासते श्रद्धया परयोपेताः ते मे युक्ततमा ये त्वक्षरमनिर्देश्यम् अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते कूटस्थमचलं ध्रुवं सन्नियम्येन्द्रियग्रामं सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव सर्वभूतहिते रताः। क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखं देहवद्भिरवाप्यते ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते महं समुद्धर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशितचेतसां मय्येव मन आधत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अत ऊर्ध्वं न संशय। अथ चित्तं समाधातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम् अभ्यासयोगेन ततः मामिच्छाप्तुम् अभ्यासेऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थमपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिमवाप्स्यसि अथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि कर्तुं मद्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं ततः कुरु यतात्मवान् श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानाध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागः त्यागाच्छान्तिरनन्तरम् अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखसुखक्षमी सन्तुष्टः सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः। So after having discussed the various levels of sadhana, now Bhagavan is describing the characteristics of a Siddha Purusha, or the characteristics to be developed by a sadhaka. So yesterday we had seen Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam, cultivating non-hatredness, Maitraha, being friendly, Karunaha, compassionate, Nirmamaha, Nirahankaraha, freedom from I and mineness, Samadukha Sukhaha, being equanimous in joys and sorrows, Kshami, forgiving, Santushtaha Satatam, ever contented, Yatatma, the one having control over the body, mind, intellect, senses, etc. Dridha Nishchayaha, having firm resolve, Mai arpita manobuddhihi. The one who has total love, devotion, surrender, respect, reverence, the one who values God as the highest. Such a person, madbhaktaha same priyaha. Such a devotee is dear to me. Now here this is the chapter where Bhagavan says, such a devotee is dear to me, such a devotee is dear to me. In the coming verses you will find Bhagavan repeating this verse again and again, this term. Such a devotee is dear to me. So therefore what does it mean? We have to cultivate all these virtues as best as we can. Now let us chant the next two, 15th and 16th. Yasmanno dvijate lokaha lokanno dvijate chayaha harsha bhayodvegaihi mukto yassa cha me priyaha anapekshashuchirdakshaha udāsīno gatavyathah sarvārambha parityāgi yo madbhaktas same priyaha yasmanno dvijate lokaha lokanno dvijate chayaha harsha bhayodvegaihi mukto yassa cha me priyaha anapekshashuchirdakshaha udāsīno gatavyathah sarvārambha parityāgi yo madbhaktas same priyaha yasmat na udvijate lokaha. The one because of whom the world is not agitated. Lokat na udvijate chayaha. The one who is not agitated by the world as well. So he never creates problem for the world, nor does he get agitated when problems come from the world. So he doesn't create agitation in the world. Why? He doesn't create problem for the world. He doesn't create disturbances in the world because internally he is undisturbed. Only a disturbed mind can bring out disturbed actions. Agitated mind alone can bring agitated actions. So in this case he is very peaceful, so therefore he brings out only actions which are service oriented, actions which take care of the welfare of others. So therefore he does not create problem for the world. But what happens when world starts creating problem for him? What is his attitude? Lokat na udvijate. He is not disturbed by the world. So he is a master of all situations. He is a master of all situations because he is a master of his mind. He is like a thermostat, not like thermometer. Thermometer, the reading depends upon the external temperature, whereas thermostat, what does it do? It keeps the temperature of the surroundings at the level at which it has been set. So who decides the temperature? Thermostat decides the temperature. Whereas in the case of thermometer, the outer temperature will decide its level, isn't it? So this person also is not affected by others. In fact, wherever he goes, he will create a peaceful atmosphere there. He will bring out peace because he is peaceful, therefore he emanates peace wherever he goes. What you have, you can give it to others. If you have wealth, you can give wealth to others. If you have peace, you give peace to others. If you have disturbance, you provide disturbance free of supply. What you have, you give it to others. Now this person is very peaceful, contented, happy. So naturally wherever he goes, he spreads peace and happiness. Harsha, amarsha, bhaya, udvegaihi muktaha. Free from harsha, elation, joy. Amarsha. Amarsha means jealousy. Amarsha means dejection, impatience, intolerance. All this meaning goes for amarsha. Free from amarsha. Bhaya, fear. Udvega, anxiety, agitation. So he is free from all kinds of mental fluctuation. Why is he free from all kinds of mental fluctuation? He is free because he doesn't depend on the world for his happiness or peace. He doesn't depend on the world. World is full of uncertainties. You can't predict anything of the world. So when you attach yourself to the world, your state of mind also starts fluctuating. Everything in the world is changing. So therefore, if you hold on to the world, if you attach yourself to the world, your state of mind also becomes fluctuating. But he is not dependent upon the world for his happiness. So therefore, he is able to keep his mind at absolute peace. Like for example, the boat in the ocean. Can the boat ever remain firm in the ocean? It cannot. Why it cannot? Because the waves are tossing up and down. The boat is supported by the waves. Waves themselves are being tossed up and down. So naturally the boat also will be tossed up and down. But what about a lighthouse? The lighthouse is also in the ocean, but the lighthouse doesn't take the support of the waves. So what is the foundation for the lighthouse? It is not the waves, it is the solid ground. So even when the waves go up and down, the lighthouse remains undisturbed. In the same way, this devotee also holds on to God, the strongest, the eternal, the permanent, the substratum, and therefore naturally his mind is also undisturbed. Swami Vivekananda was supposed to go to Chicago for his talk in the World Parliament of Religions. So when he had to go, he did not have any money. Somehow he got his ticket booked in the ship. So he did not know whom to contact in America. No contacts, no money, new culture, unknown place. He sat down, boarded the ship, sat down in a corner, absolutely undisturbed. So then one gentleman entered the ship. He saw Swamiji sitting there peacefully. So he asked, Swamiji, may I know where you are going to? So he said, Chicago. Swamiji, you are going to Chicago? I also stay in Chicago. May I know where you are staying in Chicago? So Swamiji said, maybe I will stay at your place. Absolutely free from worries, tension. What will happen? What will happen? Who will take care of me? How will I feed myself? Nothing. There is a Lord, He will take care. Our condition is, even when we know the place, we have relatives there. People are waiting there in the railway station. Even then half an hour before itself, there is so much of anxiety, so much of worry. 100,000 times you will make the call. Isn't it? You just see when the train approaches that main station. Just half an hour before itself, all are there with the luggage, blocking the entire passage. So much of worry, so much of tension. So here this person is free from all kinds of negative emotions. Such a devotee is dear to me, who takes complete refuge in me. Anapekshaha. Anapekshaha means what? Apeksha means expectations. So anapekshaha means freedom from all kinds of false expectations. Expectation itself is not wrong, but false expectations, definitely they are wrong. What do you mean by false expectation? See, expecting sweetness from sugar, is it wrong? It is not wrong. It is the right expectation, nothing wrong. You will never be disappointed. What you expect, you will get, because that is the nature of that thing. But then our problem is we expect things which are not its nature. Like for example, expecting sweetness from salt. Expecting the mirage waters to quench our thirst. These are called false expectation. Now these examples are easy. Now the next example is expecting the world to give you permanent happiness. Can the world give you permanent happiness? The world itself is impermanent. How can an impermanent thing give you permanent happiness? All worldly relationships are impermanent. How can that impermanent relationship make you permanently happy? One finite person keeping relationship with another finite person expecting infinite happiness. How is it possible? When two finite things come together, what happens? The finitude only increases, isn't it? Finite plus finite is always finite. So expecting world to give me perfect happiness is called a false expectation. Expecting my children to obey me all throughout my life. False expectation. Expecting the same love relationship. False expectation. If you get it, you are lucky, but don't. All these are false expectations. Then what is the right expectation? Yes. Expecting peace, happiness from God. It is right expectation. Expecting peace and happiness by turning away from God. It is a false expectation. So here this person is rooted on truth. Anapekshaha means there is no false expectation in him. His understanding is clear about life. Anapekshaha shuchihi. Shuchihi means a man with pure intention. Shuchihi means purity. A pure person means what? Pure person means whose intentions are pure, whose thoughts are noble. Such a person is called here as shuchihi. His intentions are always to help others, to do good to others. He works for the welfare of all. So his actions are pure, his thoughts are pure, his words are pure. He is a blessings for all. Shuchihi. Dakshaha. Dakshaha means alert, vigilant, efficient. And the next word is Udāsīnatā, indifferent. Udāsīnatā. On one side he is Dakshaha, on the other side he is Udāsīnatā. What does it mean? The most important issues of the world, of existence, he is Dakshaha. Very alert, very vigilant. For example, he is very clear about life, so therefore he is very alert about certain things, like for example meditation, like for example prayer, entertaining good thoughts in the mind. He is very careful. The moment a negative thought enters, he is alert. Dhyayato vishayan pumsah sangasteshu upajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho bijayate krodhat bhavati sammoha sammoha smriti vibhramaha smriti bhramshat buddhinashaha buddhinashat pranashyati. What is this? It is the ladder of fall. How a person falls. So first is dhyayato vishayan pumsaha. He imagines, he meditates upon vishaya, the sensual pleasures, the sense objects, and from there he starts falling down. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha. Then sangasteshu upajayate, he becomes more attached. Then the attachment becomes a craving. Then that craving, he wants that object. Then something comes in between. He is not getting it. Then it turns into anger. Anger turns into sammoha, delusion. Delusion into loss of memory. Loss of memory, and then buddhinasha, loss of wisdom. And ultimately he perishes. So how does it happen? It doesn't happen suddenly. It happens step by step. There is a thought build up. The negative thoughts are building up slowly. And ultimately a time comes when the negative thought gains so much of momentum that he cannot but express it through his sense organs, through his body. Thus he perishes. Now here, dakshaha means what? A person who is alert. At the very first step itself, he is so alert that he avoids that negative thought. He replaces that negative thought with the positive one. He doesn't allow that negative thought to build up. And so therefore, he is protected at a very early stage itself. A stitch in time saves 9. Exactly the same thing. At a very early stage, he is able to detect these negative happenings and he is able to avoid the calamity. Such a person is called daksha, alert, vigilant. This is what happens to a sadhak. A spiritual seeker slowly becomes more and more alert as to what is happening inside his mental factory. What kinds of thoughts are being brought up by the mind. And so therefore, it is something like being prepared. So he has enough time to avoid calamity. He takes every step in the right direction after enough thinking. Dakshaha. At the same time, Udāsīnatā. Udāsīnatā means indifferent. Indifferent to anything that does not take a person to God. Indifferent to anything that will not give you spiritual evolution. That is Udāsīnatā, indifferent. Because there are so many things in this world where your attention is not actually required. This is called as Nirakshira Viveka. The swan has this ability to drink only the milk and leave aside water. The ant also, you mix sugar and sand together and put it in front of ant. What will the ant do? It will take only the sugar. In the same way, this world is also a mix of good and bad. So what should be our attitude? We should know what is good, what is bad, and we should take only what is good. We should be dakshaha with respect to good thing. We should be udāsīnaha with respect to everything bad. Udāsīnaha also means Udāsīnaha, the one who is seated on top. Seated on top doesn't mean physically seating himself on top, standing on the top of the building. That is not the meaning. Udāsīnatā means his vision is so high. Higher the vision, lesser will be the problems you will face in life. Any situation, if you can analyze it from a very high vision, then you will find all problems becoming insignificant. Just like when you board a flight, as the plane goes high, what happens? All these big buildings and dams, etc. becomes insignificant, isn't it? Higher you go, everything becomes insignificant. Lower you come, everything becomes very, very important. Even the silly issues becomes very important. Now this person is Udāsīnatā. He is seated very high. There is a very interesting Aesop's fable which I read. So there was this eagle which was seated on top of a tree, doing nothing. It was just seated there. So one rabbit comes there. Rabbit looks at the eagle and becomes envious of that eagle, sitting, doing nothing. So the rabbit said, Eagle, can I also sit like you, doing nothing? The eagle said, yes. So the rabbit also sat there, doing nothing. And suddenly one fox comes from behind and eats him up. So the moral of the story is over. Moral of the story. If you want to remain doing nothing, you must be seated very, very high. This is the moral. If you want to sit doing nothing, you must be seated very, very high. Okay, so here he is also Udāsīnatā, therefore Udāsīnatā, indifferent to all these petty things of the world. And therefore Gatavyatah, free from vyatha, free from sorrow. If you can practice dakshata and Udāsīnatā, you will have freedom from all kinds of sorrow. Be alert, be vigilant to what is important and be indifferent to what is unimportant. So he is free from all kinds of sorrow. The moment the mind develops any kind of negativity, he is alert enough to remove it. So the mind remains fresh, mind remains cheerful, mind remains peaceful. So therefore there is no question of vyatha for him, no sorrow. So what is the price you have to pay for peace and happiness? The price you have to pay is constant vigilance. Gatavyatah sarva arambha parityagi. One who has given up all arambha, all undertakings, all actions. What does it mean? It doesn't mean he doesn't act, he doesn't perform action. That is not the point. Giving up all actions means giving up the doership in actions. He never say, I am the doer. He says, if he is a bhakta, he will say, Bhagavan is the doer, I am only an instrument. So then what happens? Since the doership is not there, enjoyership also will not be there. They go together. What does it mean? See, actions are actions only when there is doership. Otherwise, that is not called actions at all. When there is no doership, so karma will not give karma phala. So it is equivalent to saying he has not done anything at all. The sense of doership makes actions action. And therefore there is no karma bandhana also. Bondage of action is born out of action. When there is no doership, there is no bondage also. He may be very, very active in the world, but from the spiritual standpoint, he has not done anything at all. From a Jñānīs standpoint, what is his understanding? I am pure consciousness. In my presence, the body, the mind, the senses, they gain sentiency, and gaining sentiency, they act in the world. I am not doing anything. Just like the fire, which will say, in my presence food is being cooked. I am not doing anything. The nature of the fire is to give heat. The nature of the heat is to cook food. Now is fire doing anything? Fire, if you say fire is cooking, it is wrong. There is no verb there. Fire is just there. In the presence of fire, cooking is happening. Isn't it? It is the nature of the fire to cook food. But actually, fire is not doing anything. In the same way, a Jnāni also feels the same thing. Actions are being performed by the instruments of Prakriti in the field of Prakriti. Guna guneshu vartante iti mattvana sajjate. 3rd chapter. Gunas are interacting with gunas. The body, mind, intellect made of Prakriti are interacting with Prakriti. What about you? I am not doing anything. This is the firm understanding. Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavit. I don't do anything. This is the understanding. So the same thing is put here. Sarva arambha parityagi. Yaha mad bhaktaha same priyaha. Such a devotee is dear to me. Let us chant 17, 18, 19. Yo na hrishyati na dveshti na shochati na kankshati shubha shubha parityagi bhaktimanyas same priyaha samashatrau cha mitre cha tatha manapamanayoho shitoshna sukha dukkheshu samasanga vivarjitaha tulya nindastutirmauni santushto yena kenachit aniketasthiramatihi bhaktiman me priyo naraha yo na hrishyati na dveshti na shochati na kankshati shubha shubha parityagi bhaktimanyas same priyaha samashatrau cha mitre cha tatha manapamanayoho samasanga vivarjitaha tulya nindastutirmauni santushto yena kenachit bhaktiman me priyo naraha yaha na hrishyati. He doesn't become elated. Na dveshti, doesn't hate. Na shochati, doesn't grieve. Na kankshati, doesn't crave. Yaha na hrishyati. Hrishyati means harsha, elation, being excited. When something happens which you want to happen, you expected something and much more than that you got, then the feeling is harsha. Is it a negative trait? Here it is said it is a negative trait. When you are excited or elated when something good happens, when you are successful, when you gain something, the elation is considered as a negative trait. Why is it considered as a negative trait? Someone told me, see, when India and Pakistan play cricket, when India wins, I am very happy. But when India loses, I am not sorrowful. Now, is it possible? He says, if India wins, I am very much excited, happy, etc. But if India loses, I don't care. I have no sorrow. Is it possible? It is not possible. It is a mere word, that's all. See, because your happiness depends upon your attachment to that object. What determines your happiness? The happiness is determined by the attachment. So therefore sorrow also is determined by the attachment. The more you are attached to something, the more will be the fluctuation. It can be high or low. So that is why it is said, Yona hrishyati na shochati. He is neither elated nor does he grieve. Because going up and going down, it is directly related to the attachment. He has no attachment, so therefore the external ups and downs are not able to affect him. He doesn't seek world for his happiness. So what does he seek for his happiness? Where does he take the support for his happiness? He seeks happiness from the Lord. He has an uninterrupted bliss supply, as we have this uninterrupted power supply. When the current goes, if you have UPS, then you don't have to worry. The UPS will supply the power, isn't it? Sometimes you never even know that the current has gone if you have UPS. So in the same way here, this person has got UBS. What is this UBS? Uninterrupted bliss supply. That bliss he seeks from God, not from the world. So therefore ups and downs of life, he is able to cheerfully accept it. Shubha Ashubha Parityagi. The one who has given Shubha and Ashubha. See, giving up Ashubha we can understand. He has given Shubha also. Yes, he has given Shubha also. So here Shubha Ashubha means punya pāpa. He has given up actions which are either punya or pāpa. What does it mean? See, in spirituality, even punya is also a pāpa karma. Confused? In spirituality, punya karma is also pāpa karma in a way. The only thing is, pāpa karma binds you with iron chains, punya karma binds you with golden chain. One thing is for sure, what? Bondage. How does punya karma bind you? When you do punya karma, what has to come? Punya karma phala has to come, right? So if punya karma phala has to be enjoyed, you have to take birth again, because that karma phala is waiting. Taking birth into this world again means what? Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, dukkham. Isn't it? You might have been born in a very good family, very cultured family, very prosperous family with a diamond spoon in your mouth. But you can't avoid the pain of birth, the sufferings of old age, the sufferings of disease, isn't it? Being born means what? Shariram tu khalu roga mandiram, it is called. What is this body? It is a temple of disease, isn't it? Old age, disease, death, birth. So your punya karma has given you another birth, which is filled with sorrow. So does it mean that we should not do punya karma? That is not the point. Of course, pāpa karma should not be done. Punya karma only should be done, but it should be done with the attitude of what? As an instrument, yes. Bhagavan, I am only an instrument. You are the doer, I am only an instrument. This way when you do, though you are doing punya karma, the karma is done by whom? Bhagavan. So karma phala also will go to Bhagavan. And you will get chitta-shuddhi. So even the punya karma also must be done as a worship of the Lord, surrendering everything unto the Lord. Then this punya karma will not bind you. Then karma bandhana will not be there. Thus you are safe. Otherwise, actions can bind you. So here this person, Shubha Ashubha Parityagi, he has given both punya as well as pāpa karma. Also it is said, if you do punya karma, you go to Swargadi Loka. But then what happens? Kshine punye martya lokam vishanti. With punya is something like your, what you call, the merit you earn. It is the cash. The only cash which is valid in the higher worlds, like Swarga, etc. So how much ever punya you do, that much money you have. And these higher worlds are like, they say, 5-star hotels. So you go there, enjoy all the pleasures. For enjoyment, what is the cash you have to give? Punya is the cash you have to give. So every time you enjoy in a pleasure, that much of punya is deducted. And once all the punyas get over, you come back to the same world. Start from square one. So therefore this sadhaka is very careful. He does punya karma, but at the same time performs it as a worship of the Lord, not getting tainted by it. Such a devotee is dear to me. Samaha shatrau cha mitre cha. He is equal to shatru and mitra, friend and foe. How can we be equal to friend and foe? Because this sadhaka or a siddha, he is not seeing the external mask. His relationship is not superficial. He makes relationship with people from the very, with respect to the essence. Externally, a person may be my friend or may be my enemy. But that is only a superficial relationship. In essence, what is our relationship? We are all one. We are all playing different roles in the society. So according to the sadhaka, it is God himself who is playing the fool and the wise. In essence, we are none other than God. But in our ignorance, we think we are this individual. So what is the vision of a wise person? He sees everyone as God himself. Man, God forgetful of his own true nature is man. And man awakened to his divine nature is God. So everyone is none other than God alone. So this wise person has this vision. And so therefore what does he see? He doesn't see the superficial relationship, friend, enemy, etc. In fact, he doesn't have any enemy. But the other person may consider him to be inimical. He doesn't have any enemy, but others may consider him as an enemy. So, but what is his vision? His vision is the vision of oneness, the vision of divinity. How did he gain this vision? He looked into himself and he found divinity there. So naturally he is able to find divinity in everyone. So therefore there is samatvam. Samaha shatrau cha mitre cha tatha manapamanayoho shitoshna sukha dukkheshu samaha. Again he is samaha, equanimous. Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha, Mana, Apamana. He is equanimous. Shita, Ushna, cold and heat. So that is at the physical level. They are all the ups and downs, the pairs of opposites. So Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha, joys and sorrows with regard to the mind. Mana, Apamana, honor and dishonor. It is with respect to the intellect. Body, mind, intellect. What is his attitude? Samaha. Samaha. Remember, all these virtues he has gained because of only one virtue. And what is that virtue? He is connected to God. Bas. He is connected to God, therefore all these virtues have become natural. It has come natural to him. If you leave that and try to cultivate it, it is impossible. But if you hold on to him, then all these things automatically comes to you. Sangavarjitaha. Sangavarjitaha means what? Free from attachments. Free from unhealthy attachments. Let us put it that way. Unhealthy attachment. What do you mean unhealthy attachment? Whenever attachment is clouding your ability to think, then that is unhealthy attachment. Whenever your attachment to someone or something is preventing you from right thinking, then it is unhealthy attachment. For example, let us take Arjuna's case. Arjuna had to fight the battle, but the moment he saw his grandfather, his teacher, what happened to him? He collapsed and he started arguing, Krishna, fighting against one teacher is a sin. Fighting against one's grandfather is a sin. So therefore I will not fight. Is Arjuna right or wrong? How many of you say Arjuna is right? Yes, some hands are coming up. Let it come up. Yes. Many are not raising hands because they knew the answer. But they are not though convinced. If I start giving arguments in favor of Arjuna, many more hands will come up. Superficially you will find Arjuna is right. Yes, of course, we should not fight against our parents, our grandparents, our teachers, etc. They are worshipful. Isn't it so? It is true. But now the context has to be kept in mind. Now see, Arjuna has come onto the battlefield as a family member or as an army man. Now he has two roles to play there. Role as an army man, role as a family member. Now which role is the bigger role? His role in the army or his role in the family? Some said family. Someone said. Anyway, to give a better example, suppose there is a only son of father and mother, only son, and he is in the army. Now there is a war. Should he take care of his family or should he go for war? Only son. Should he go for war or should he take care of the family? Now, as a family member, he is supposed to take care of the family. But as a citizen of the country, he is an army man, he has a bigger responsibility to play, isn't it? Responsibility with respect to nation. Which responsibility is bigger? Responsibility towards nation or responsibility towards the family? Now here it is conflicting with each other, because these two roles you can't play one role without going against the other. You can either take care of the family or you can go for war. Now which role we have to take? Remember, always we have to take the role where the bigger, remember that karma yoga, keep the bigger picture in mind, and then only you must take decisions. So in this case, this son's role as a citizen of nation, that role is bigger than his role in the family. So therefore, he has to take up the bigger role. Now the same case happens in this also. Arjuna's role as an army man is bigger than Arjuna's role as a family man. Now in the battlefield, he is seeing grandfather and teacher. That is family relationship. He is not supposed to see in that angle. Which angle he must see? He must see the whole picture. He must see the bigger picture. So, and the bigger picture, his role is to fight. So, therefore, Bhagavan is asking him to fight. Is that point clear? Now, this is called a delusion, and this delusion has come because of attachment. He loved them so much that he is not able to fight against them. See the greatness of Veda Vyasa. If you read it, you are also confused. And then slowly that confusion is removed. I hope that point is clear. This example can be multiplied everywhere. A teacher is correcting the paper, say for example 10th standard, and suddenly she comes across her own son's answer sheet. Name is not given, but through handwriting she could make out that this is my son's. Now again the role conflict comes. As a mother, she wants her son to score more marks, but as a teacher she is supposed to be impartial. Now there is a role conflict. Now which role she has to take? She must take the role as a teacher, because that is a bigger role, isn't it? So this way examples can be multiplied. A judge, his own son is brought as a criminal. If he says, to err is human, to forgive is divine, will you accept? So we have to be very careful while deciding what is dharma, what is adharma. So sangha varjitaha is free from attachment. He is free from attachment because he always thinks from the bigger. His vision is always very high. If you live life intelligently, the life will be very, very smooth and easy. So this person is the one who has applied the oil of knowledge, and then he is cutting the jackfruit. Have you ever cut jackfruit? There is that white sticky liquid which comes, and it will spoil all your joy. So what is the first thing you have to do? Apply the oil and cut. In the same way, enter into the world by applying the oil of knowledge. Then you can remain sangha varjitaha. This sticky liquid will not trouble you. Tulya ninda stutihi. Tulya ninda stutihi. He is equanimous in ninda and stuti. Now you may say, the same term has come earlier. Mana apamanayoho samaha. So what is the difference? Mana apamana means honor and dishonor. Ninda stuti is honor and dishonor at speech level. When you honor someone at the speech level, it is called stuti. When you dishonor someone at the speech level, it is called ninda. Praise, criticisms. So what is his attitude? Tulya, undisturbed. Mauni. Mauni means, Shankaracharya says, Sammika vak. Samyata vak. That's how he defines Mauni. Samyata vak. The one who has disciplined his speech. Mauni doesn't mean he doesn't utter any word. It doesn't mean he doesn't speak. Samyata vak. Whatever has to be spoken, he will speak to the point as much as necessary, and then he is silent. This is a kind of vak tapas. It is an austerity at the level of speech. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyam hitam chayat. This is the austerity at the speech level. Anudvegakaram vakyam. When you speak, your speech should be anudvegakaram. It should not agitate the mind of others. Satyam, it should be truth. Priyam, it should be put sweetly, nicely. At the same time, hitam, it should do good to others. If this condition is followed, then you may speak. Mauni. Mauni also means manana shilavan, who is contemplative by nature. So this person is Mauni. Santushto yena kenachit. ever contented. With respect to his bodily needs, he is contented with anything. With respect to his physical, material needs, he is contented with anything. Just like we are contented with spiritual needs. Isn't it? The moment we are little busy, no meditation, no prayer. That is the first thing we will skip. So with respect to spiritual progress, we are santushto yena kenachit. This person is santushtaha with respect to material needs. Simple living, high thinking. Not simply living and highly thinking. There is a big difference. Santushtaha yena kenachit. Aniketaha, homeless. You may wonder, what is this? Homeless. So if you have to become a Mahatma, you have to become homeless? No. What is home? Home is a place where we gain security, where we are secure, where we are peaceful, where we are happy, where we are comfortable, isn't it? That's why we say, I feel at home. I feel at home means what? You are most happy there, most peaceful there, most secure there. That is called home. Now here is a person who is homeless. Meaning what? He has never considered this world as his home. Because this world is continuously changing. You can never be secure, absolutely peaceful as far as this world is concerned. So what is his home? His home is that. In Kannada there is a saying, Allide nammane. What is the next line? Anyone? Illi summane something. Illi bandaddu summane. Allide nammane. Illige summane. Summane means just like that. Allide nammane. That is our real home. This home is not very important. There is a saying in Kannada. So in that sense he is homeless. He has never considered this world as his home. Only Bhagavan is his real home. Maya mayamidam akhilam buddhva brahmapadam tvam pravishaviditva. The Brahmapadam is his home. That pure consciousness, that pure Brahman is his home, where he is absolutely secure. Aniketaha sthiramatihi. Sthiramatihi means man with firm, clear understanding. Firm understanding. What is real, what is unreal. He is clear. God alone is real, everything is unreal, everything is impermanent. His understanding is firm and clear. Such a bhaktiman, such a man of devotion, me priyaha naraha, such a person is dear to me. Now the last and a very interesting verse. Ye tu dharmyamritamidam yathoktam paryupasate saddadhanamat paramaha bhaktaste tiva me priyaha ye tu dharmyamritamidam yathoktam paryupasate saddadhanamat paramaha bhaktaste tiva me priyaha. Yes. Ye to, those people, idam dharmyamritam, this teaching, dharmyam here means teaching, which is amrutam, which is immortal. Those people who yathauktam paryupasate, as has been taught, those people who paryupasate, who follow these teachings which are immortal. Immortal teaching means what? This teaching will lead you to immortality. Amritam is the result. if you practice this teaching. So therefore, dharmyamritam, those people who are practicing the sadhakas, shraddhadhanaha, with full faith, mat paramaha, considering me as the supreme, te bhaktaha, those devotees are atīva me priyaha, those devotees are extremely dear to me. Now suddenly Bhagavan uses this extremely dear term. Till now how he had used bhaktaha me priyaha, 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 they are dear, not they also. He is dear, he is dear. So it was singular, number one. Number two, it was only dear. Suddenly he uses plural term. They are atīva priyaha, extremely dear. So therefore what does it mean? This verse is for the sadhakas. Earlier verses are for the siddhas, perfected one. So Bhagavan says, siddhas are dear to me, sadhakas are extremely dear to me. Those who are striving, they are extremely dear to me. Now you may wonder why this extremely dear adjective. It is because as far as a siddha is concerned, these values come automatically to them. They have experienced the truth, so naturally all the values are inherent. But as far as a sadhaka is concerned, he has not seen the truth, he has not seen God, only his strength is shraddha-dhana, faith. Faith that scriptures are right, faith that gurus are right, faith that God exists. Only based on this faith he is moving. So therefore, Bhagavan has a greater love for him. And moreover, a sadhaka is the one who keeps on falling and getting up, unlike a siddha. So now suppose a father has two sons. One son is elder, who can walk by himself. The other son is a small one, whom the father has to carry. Where will be his attention more? Upon the smaller one or the bigger one? Smaller one, isn't it? Bigger one, he will manage himself. But the father or the mother, their attention will be more upon the child, isn't it? It is true with Bhagavan also. A sadhaka is that child. Many times he has to fall. So therefore Bhagavan's attention is more upon the sadhakas. It's a very beautiful verse. It is meant for all of us. His love, his concern for the sadhakas are more than the siddhas. Siddhas are the grown-up ones. Sadhakas are the little ones. So Bhagavan says, such devotees who are striving with great difficulty, many times they are falling. But Bhagavan says, such devotees are extremely dear to me. Okay? So if you are striving, understand Bhagavan's love is there. Intensely it is there with you. A very, 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 very inspiring verse for all of us. Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Bhakti Yogo Nama Dvadashodhyayah. Yes. Thus concludes the 12th chapter called Bhakti Yoga, which comes as a part of conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, and the topic being discussed is Brahma Vidya, coming under Bhagavad Gita, which is the very essence of the Upanishads. Thus, the 12th chapter is concluded. Right. I sincerely invoke the grace of the Lord, blessings of Pujya Gurudev, may we also perform these 5 levels of sadhana. You remember them? Nirguna, Nirakara, Dhyana, first one, level 5. Level 4, Saguna, Nirakara, Upasana, or Vishwarupa, Ishvara, Upasana. Level number 3, Saguna, Sakara, Upasana, or Ishta Devata, Upasana. Level number 2, Nishkama Karma Yoga. Level number 1, Sakama Karma Yoga. Right. So I sincerely invoke the blessings of Pujya Gurudev, the grace of the Lord. May we perform this sadhana, and in this very birth itself, let us try to finish off this samsara chakra. Right. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhave, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi